Mhm. Hey, folks, there you are. There you are. You know what? I found myself today doing a list of things. Music's a little loud. So, doing a list of things. And now I find myself here at 15 minutes to 5, looking at a list of things to do, a number of people to make happy, and going, it's quarter to 5. It's quarter to 5. And today's my son's birthday. So, um, here's where I'm going with this. So, I had 2 classes to teach today for the Marine Retailers Association. Those are 90 minutes apiece. So right there is just 3 hours, gone. Little break in between, so things get soaked up. You've got preparation time, so maybe an hour before that, you're prepping for your classes. Anyone that's a trainer, an instructor, a public speaker, you know what you got to do, right? You got to get in the right frame of mind, and you have to refresh yourself with content, and you want to make sure that you give your audience, even if it's a class, even if it's students, you give your audience the best you that you can give, right? And so that's something that I am really, really big on. Now, after that, I had a podcast scheduled. And in fact, let's just throw that up there on the screen so you see it. Have you listened to the Mañana No Mas podcast yet? I am not one of those people that makes a podcast every week or every 2 weeks or the second Tuesday of every quarter. I don't have a regimen like that. Maybe that accounts for why our listenership is a little bit lower than some other scheduled podcasts. But when somebody rises to the top, when I am in the circles of influence of someone where I think to myself, hey, my listeners and readers would find some value in this person. That's when I schedule someone for a podcast, and then we put that out. Now, we broadcast that one live as we recorded it today. It's on the YouTube channel for Mañana No Mas, and it's going to get republished. I'm guessing Friday. It's probably going to be Friday. It'll get republished. It'll be a blog post on the Mañana No Mas website. It'll go out to all the normal channels, Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, all those things. You'll be able to see it and interact with it in that way. So that happens. Then I had myself some lunch. It's great. And then I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know what happened for, I'm going to let that one go. I had a phone call coming in. I'm like, who is that? So when all of this is happening, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking of a phone call I got last night where somebody was talking about their anxiety. And I was thinking about when I volunteered at church on Monday night. I work with the college age group. And a lot of the people in that group, and there's a lot of people in this group, by the way, it's over 100 kids. They're grown adults, right? There's 100 young adults, more than 100 young adults that come to the church for this college age group. And a lot of them talk about anxiety or mention anxiety. And so I was like, that's interesting. And then when I'm teaching the Marine Retailers Association and the Power Sport Academy work that I do in power sports, a lot of that coaching, teaching, mentorship is based in relationships, because I coach people in business that if we focus on the relationship first with the client, the transaction happens automatically. And people see that with the way that I run Mañana No Mas as an agency. I'm not actively pounding the pavement and begging people to be customers of Mañana No Mas, but I have conversations with people. I meet a lot of people. I network. I put myself in the right place, and conversations happen. And through those conversations, a need is articulated, a method to meet that need is voiced, and someone becomes a customer. And that's just the way the business works. Focus on the relationship, and the transactions will occur. So in the description for this video, I said, what do you want to chat about next? And here's where I'm at with this. I'm not even sure how I want to say it. I started doing these lives, consistent lives, during the pandemic. And during the pandemic, I was really big on find your opportunities within the obstacles, find the silver lining on that cloud, try and find the positive in whatever, because a lot of people weren't feeling the positive at that time, if we remember that. And it's funny because it's just a few years ago, but a lot of people really don't remember what it was like during the pandemic. A lot of people have blacked out, apparently forgot everything. I'm hoping that people can remember what it was like come election day. I'm hoping on election day, people remember, oh, yeah, that idiot did this during the pandemic. I'm not voting for that moron. When I look at the way leadership treated the populace, treated the citizenry during the pandemic, I get a little fired up. So, anyway, I take that back. I'm thinking about when I started communicating on a lot of these lives during the pandemic, trying to be positive and trying to boost people up. Well, now fast forward, a few more years here, and I've become an expert in the WordPress space. I'm not a coder. I tell people all the time, I'm not a coder. I'm not a developer in that sense. I'm a really good business consultant, analyst, problem solver with pre-existing tools. I'm able to help people put together platforms, especially in the WordPress space, that really meet a client's needs. And so I spend a lot of my time troubleshooting with people on, so you want to schedule appointments, you want an active CRM tool, you want to have a sales funnel, you want to do e-commerce, you want to sell books, you want to sell coffee cups, you want to, whatever the issue is. I'm really good at putting those together. And so I thought to myself, so what do people want me to talk about next? Do they want to talk about WordPress? Do they want to dive further down the rabbit hole of WordPress and the options and the tools, membership and e-learning and e-commerce and community platforms? Do we want to go down that road? I mean, let's be real. I kind of cover that with the Membership Machine show and the WP Tonic show that I helped Jonathan with. So I don't necessarily know that this is the channel for that, when you could just go look at the WP Tonic and Membership Machine show stuff and get some of my input there. So then I start thinking to myself, as a person of faith, do I jump out there and start sharing elements of my faith that help me make decisions and stay calm in a tumultuous economic market? Is that something that we want to discuss? Do we want to discuss those faith issues, but from the perspective of business and leadership and staying calm and all of those things? But then I go back to what I mentioned earlier, and anxiety comes to the top of my range often. And I almost feel guilty because while I will say I don't suffer from anxiety, it would be a lie to say that I don't suffer from anxiety. I just think I manifest the solution to anxiety in a different way than others do. I believe in being active. I believe in physical activity, right? I believe in reading. I believe in staying educated. I believe in communicating with others. I believe in human interaction. And a lot of people don't, or if they do, they don't pursue it. And in a lot of cases, when I see people talking about anxiety, there's a couple of things that come up. One, big pharma. Big pharma seems to have a lot to do with anxiety, at least in the people that I interact with. I don't want to blanket this whole thing, but there's a lot of people taking drugs and medications and things prescribed by a doctor, I'm sure. Okay. I'm Everyone goes, it's a prescription. Okay, it's a prescription. But do you really need that? Do you want to be an optimized machine of your own? Do you want to live up to the potential that you have the possibility to live up to? Or do you want to take some pills that dull your senses and make you immune to feelings? I know I say that in a weird way, and I know that there's a lot of people on prescriptions. My wife works works in the pharmacy at a store. So she'll say, "Oh my God, Kurt, you're right. There's a lot of people on prescription meds in town." Yeah, most. It's not even a lot. Like, most people are embroiled in some type of big pharma scheme. Um, and what some would say, it's not a health industry, it's a sickness industry. Think about it. They don't make money if you get well. They only make money if you stay sick. So there's a lot of people out there that believe that big pharma will keep you as sick as possible without killing you just to keep making more money off of you. Now, that is a horrible way to look at something, but I can't say that that doesn't somehow enter my mind sometimes. So, knowing all of these other ways to deal with anxiety, knowing all of these other tips and tricks and things that we can do to address anxiety, sometimes I wonder, would it be of service to actually have a small series and talk about anxiety, anxiety in business, anxiety in the home office, anxiety working on the web, anxiety in a social media frame space, anxiety going to in-person networking events? I mean, there are tons of ways to talk about anxiety and just try and have the conversation openly and discuss ways without big pharma that we might be able to find our way through. And newsflash, sometimes a little anxiety is good. It like screams self-preservation. It screams taking care of yourself. And so sometimes a little anxiety is a good thing. It's Mother Nature's warning signal. So, and people phrase anxiety in different ways. The phone call I took yesterday was anxiety this, anxiety this, anxiety the other, but I wasn't really picking up anxiety. I was picking up like a real fear, right? And some people say, well, that's the same thing. No, there's a nuance. Things are different. And what's interesting is if we coach people to just slow down a little bit, stop being so frenetic, slow down, think it through, give yourself a little bit of grace. Don't worry about what other people think. Slow down, extend yourself some grace. Think it through. Does it become more clear one step at a time? And give yourself the space you need to process things. And then we'll find, hey, I actually thought that through. I'm not as freaked out as I thought I was. I'm on to the next step. So there's that. So in terms of next things to talk about, if I'm thinking of a series that I want to bring to my live presentations and maybe even put it to a schedule, say, hey, we're going to do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9:00 a.m. live. Let's say we do something like that. We're going to do a series Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9:00 live. Let's just say we're going to do it. I didn't say we're going to do it, but let's just say that could happen. Put in the comments or send me a direct message. What would bring you the most value? Would it be WordPress? Would it be leadership? Would it be reducing anxiety? Would it be email management, e-commerce, e-learning? Would it be something more specific like that? Would it be public speaking, training, presenting? You see, at my age, I've got my fingers in all of these different ponds. And so knowing which pond to choose from to come with a live message under a continuous brand of Mañana No Más is a little bit of a challenge because I don't want people to think I'm completely scattered, right? I want people to think I'm somewhat focused, but I also want to add as much value to people that take the time to watch or listen as I possibly can. So this is where I reach out to you. If I think about doing a little mini series going forward, is there a topic that you believe I could speak on or give you resources for that would add value to you? And if you have that in mind, put it in the comments or hit me with a direct message on whatever channel you're watching this. And it could be talking about issues of faith, stress and anxiety, working in WordPress, leadership, business startup practices. These are all things that I can bring to the table for you and hopefully add some value to the conversation. And if people join these lives and join in on the comments, they can become part of the conversation as well. So I'm throwing that out there to you. The option's out there for you. If I don't get any responses at all, then I might just take it as nobody cares. So we'll just move on with something different. But if I get some input from people, if I get some comments, I'll start putting the content together and we'll put together a schedule and actually do things on a timely basis. Like I said, immediately I'm thinking maybe it's Monday and Friday, maybe it's every Monday at 9, maybe it's just like the Monday motivation talk at 9 o'clock. But I think there's potential in that, and I think there'd be value in that. I have overcome a ton. I have overcome poverty. I have overcome um, parents that weren't really great parents. I have overcome a ton of issues. And so I think there might be value in sharing that forward. Have yourself a wonderful day. Thank you for your time if you've watched this. And if you get the opportunity, go ahead and drop in a comment or a direct message and let me know how you feel. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.